Managing blood sugar doesn't always require strict diets. For many of us living with diabetes, type 2 or even type 1 with proper insulin adjustment, real progress often comes from the small, daily foods we choose consistently. In this video, we're looking at 7 simple foods that naturally support steadier glucose and are easy to add to any meal. They're reliable, practical, and some of the best diabetes foods to eat for everyday stability. Let's get started. Number 1. Greek yogurt. Plain Greek yogurt is one of the most underrated daily foods for diabetes, especially because many people avoid yogurt entirely after hearing it's too sugary. The truth is, that only applies to flavored yogurt. Unsweetened Greek yogurt is high in protein, low in carbs, and supports steady glucose, particularly in the morning when many people are most insulin resistant. Its protein content slows digestion and keeps glucose from rising quickly, making it one of the best foods for diabetic patients who want a filling, low-spike breakfast. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who regularly consumed yogurt had a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes, likely due to its protein, fermentation, and probiotic content, 3 things that improve insulin response. A common misconception is the idea that all yogurt is the same. Yet Greek yogurt has nearly double the protein of regular yogurt and far fewer carbs. Its fermentation process also supports gut health, and healthier gut bacteria are strongly linked to better insulin sensitivity. From a glycemic index standpoint, unsweetened Greek yogurt is firmly in the low GI category, meaning it has only a gentle effect on blood sugar. A simple tip viewers love is add berries or a spoon of chia seeds. This increases fiber, adds antioxidants, and produces an even slower, smoother glucose rise. Greek yogurt is flexible, easy to use, and ideal as part of anyone's diabetes-friendly routine. Even replacing one carb-heavy breakfast with Greek yogurt can noticeably improve morning glucose stability. Number 2. Berries. Berries are one of the most misunderstood fruits for blood sugar. Many people avoid fruit entirely because they assume anything sweet will spike glucose. But berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries behave very differently. They're naturally sweet yet low in sugar, high in fiber, and loaded with polyphenols, making them one of the most effective diabetes foods to eat daily. A controlled study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that daily blueberry consumption improved insulin sensitivity in adults with insulin resistance, thanks to their antioxidant and polyphenol content. Other research shows berries reduce post-meal insulin demand, meaning your body needs less insulin to handle the same amount of glucose. Many people still believe all fruit spikes blood sugar the same way. But berries sit firmly in the low GI range. Their high fiber slows digestion, and their polyphenols help the body absorb and use glucose more efficiently. A simple way to use berries is pair them with protein or healthy fat. As a topping for Greek yogurt, oats, salads, or a snack on their own, they help flatten the entire meal's glucose curve. They're one of the best foods for a diabetic person who wants something sweet but still aligns with their blood sugar goals. And unlike many high GI fruits, berries give you the psychological boost of enjoying something sweet without the crash, a big win for daily consistency. Number 3. Chia seeds. Chia remains one of the simplest and most reliable foods for stabilizing glucose, yet many people still think of them only as a trendy topping. In reality, chia is extremely rich in soluble fiber, the type that absorbs water and forms a gel in your stomach. This gel slows digestion and helps glucose release more gradually, which is why chia can noticeably flatten spikes even when paired with higher carb meals. A clinical trial published in Diabetes Care found that daily chia consumption improved blood sugar control and reduced inflammation in people with type 2 diabetes, It's a strong confirmation of what many people notice quickly. Chia reduces spikes. A common misconception worth correcting is the idea that all seeds are similar. Gram for gram, chia contains significantly more soluble fiber than most nuts and seeds. Just 1 tablespoon provides around 5 grams of fiber, making it one of the best foods for a diabetic person who needs better meal stability with minimal effort. Chia also falls into the low GI category thanks to its minimal digestible carbs and high soluble fiber, and helps lower the glycemic impact of meals. Add it to yogurt, smoothies, oats, or even savory dishes to slow digestion further. A practical tip is preparing chia pudding the night before. When fully hydrated, chia's gel becomes even more effective at preventing quick glucose rises in the morning.
Number 4. Salmon, or fatty fish. Salmon isn't usually the first food people think of for blood sugar control, because it's not a carbohydrate. But that's exactly why it's so valuable. One of the biggest contributors to high glucose is insulin resistance. And salmon supports the body in a completely different way than fiber or low GI carbs. Rich in omega-3 fats and high-quality protein, salmon reduces inflammation and helps cells respond better to insulin. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults who ate fatty fish, like salmon, 3 times per week experienced improved insulin sensitivity and reduced inflammation markers. A common misunderstanding is that only carbs affect blood sugar. But what you pair with carbs is just as important. Protein and healthy fat slow digestion, reduce post-meal spikes, and keep glucose steadier for hours. Even though salmon has no GI value, as it contains virtually no carbs, meals with salmon typically produce a smoother, lower glucose rise compared to meals with lean protein alone. This is why fatty fish appears so often in lists of best foods for diabetic patients. It pairs beautifully with non-starchy vegetables like broccoli, leafy greens, or cauliflower, creating a slow-digesting, nutrient-dense combination that keeps blood sugar steady for hours. For flexibility, sardines, mackerel, and trout offer the same benefits. Number 5. Oats, preferably steel-cut or rolled. Oats often confuse people with diabetes. Many avoid them because they assume oats are too high in carbs or guaranteed to spike blood sugar. But that's mostly true for instant oats, which are heavily processed and digest very quickly. Steel-cut and rolled oats behave completely differently, releasing glucose much more slowly. The key is beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that forms a gel in the stomach and slows how quickly glucose enters the bloodstream. Studies published in Nutrition Reviews and the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition show beta-glucan significantly lowers post-meal glucose and insulin response, making oats one of the most effective slow-digesting carbs for diabetics. A common misunderstanding is that all oats are the same. But steel-cut oats sit in the low to moderate GI range, while instant oats are much higher. Their glycemic load also stays moderate because of their fiber density, especially when combined with protein or healthy fat. A practical tip is to cook oats with water or unsweetened almond milk, then pair them with Greek yogurt, chia seeds, or nuts. Avoid instant oats, added sugars, and large fruit portions. When done right, oats become one of the best foods for a diabetic person who wants something comforting with a very steady glucose response. Oats deliver fiber, satiety, and slow energy. An excellent choice for diabetes foods to eat daily while still enjoying familiar comfort foods. Number 6. Broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli is one of the most reliable vegetables for diabetes, not just because it's low carb, but because it contains compounds that support metabolic health. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage provide fiber, antioxidants, and sulfur-based compounds that help regulate glucose. Its fiber content is a major reason it works so well. 1 cup provides both soluble and insoluble fiber, slowing glucose absorption and preventing sharp rises after meals.
But the standout compound in broccoli is sulforaphane, a natural antioxidant. A study published in Science Translational Medicine found that a broccoli sprout extract rich in sulforaphane helped lower fasting glucose in people with type 2 diabetes, making it one of the most researched vegetables for insulin resistance. A common myth is that all vegetables behave the same, but cruciferous vegetables don't. Their mix of fiber, antioxidants, and sulfur-based compounds supports the body's glucose-regulating pathways far more effectively than many other vegetables. Broccoli also sits firmly in the low GI category. It digests slowly, barely nudges glucose upward, and even helps buffer higher carb foods when eaten together. A practical tip is to pair broccoli with protein or healthy fat. Salmon, tofu, beans, or tempeh create slow-digesting meals that keep glucose steady for hours. It's familiar, affordable, and one of the best foods for diabetic patients wanting something easy to eat daily without strict dieting. Number 7. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes often surprise people when they show up on lists of diabetes foods to eat daily. Many assume anything starchy or sweet must spike blood sugar. But sweet potatoes behave very differently from regular white potatoes. They're higher in fiber, especially when eaten with the skin, contain more antioxidants, and have more resistant starch, all of which slow digestion and reduce spikes.
Their glycemic index ranges from low to moderate, depending on cooking method. Boiling produces the lowest glucose response. Steaming is moderate. Roasting, baking is slightly higher, but still lower than white potatoes, and frying creates the highest spike.
A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that certain sweet potato varieties improved insulin sensitivity and produced lower post-meal glucose responses compared to high GI starchy foods. A common misconception is that all carbs spike the same. In reality, sweet potatoes contain more resistant starch, which digests slowly and creates a gentler glucose release. A helpful tip is to pair sweet potatoes with protein or healthy fat, such as salmon, eggs, chicken, or Greek yogurt, to further flatten the glucose curve. For people seeking diabetes-friendly foods to eat that still feel comforting and hearty, sweet potatoes offer warmth and satiety without the steep spike. All of these 7 foods can support steadier glucose when used consistently, whether you're managing type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, or simply trying to improve blood sugar. And if you're living with type 1 diabetes, many of these foods can still be helpful, as long as insulin adjustments match the carbs in the meal. The principles are the same: stable digestion, balanced meals, and lower spikes. Of course, no single food works in isolation. Portion control, overall balance, and consistency matter most. Think of these as building blocks you can use daily to shape meals that feel good and keep glucose steady long-term. If you found this helpful, feel free to explore our other videos for more simple habits that support healthier blood sugar.